We start with the roll call.
Alberto Paratori.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond.
Rocco Limatone.
Art Mahoney.
Thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right, our next meetings are going to be Tuesday, March 26th and Tuesday, April 23rd. In the event of snow, I know not likely at this point, but it can still happen in March. So in the event of snow and if Town Hall is closed on March 26th, then the meeting is canceled. It is not rescheduled. It is just canceled. And if that's the case, anybody who's scheduled for a public hearing that evening, if you have a sign, we just ask that you update the date on your sign so that your neighbors know that the date will have changed. The board has one set of minutes to approve. I know I circulated it with some minor amendments to them. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So the way this board operates, the first part of our agenda is public hearings. These are applications that this board has already had an opportunity to review. And now what we'd like to do is hear from neighbors. So if there's any neighbors regarding any of these applications, I think there's just two that are up for public hearing. At the time that I call them, I will ask if there are any neighbors that wish to comment. And that would be the appropriate time for you to stand up and sign in. There's a clipboard on the podium. Okay. After the public hearings are completed, then the board will get to reviews, and for the most part, these are all applications that we're seeing for the first time. So it gives the board an opportunity to make sure we understand what the applicants are each asking for. So with that said, I'm going to start with item number 1, which is Appeal 4091, Kenneth Walczak, 3 Fox Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 2-foot side and rear line variance for an existing 6-foot fence and an 8-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 14 or 140 square foot shed pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is Mr. Walczak here? Oh, if you don't mind, just come up to the microphone. So the board had an opportunity to review this application last month. This is a property in Worley Homes. So for anybody's information, this is an area that was developed many years ago. It has public utilities, so it has smaller lots. Mr. Walczak bought the property in 2020,
Correct.
if I remember correctly from what you told us.
That is right.
And in the meantime, he's added a shed and a 6-foot fence, but based on the survey, there was some mix-up with where the survey line, where your property line really was and what it was showing you. And so the fence ended up being a little closer to the property line than it should be, the 2 feet that's required. And the 2 feet is required for a 6-foot fence so that you have the opportunity to go to the other side and maintain it. The shed, just again, because Worley Homes, they're smaller lots, probably anywhere you want to put that shed on your property is going to need a variance. Okay, so that's just what we recognize for the area of Worley Homes. And you did mention last time, again, it's a new shed, it had a gravel base, so it could be moved, but it would be really difficult to do. And like we said, anywhere pretty much on your property, it would probably need a variance. So any comments or questions from board members?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Is there anything else I missed that you think
Nope,
is important?
that sounds good.
Okay.
Other than, I originally had applied in 2020 for the permit, and the survey wasn't matching, which is, we were trying to update it and close out the permit, so that's kind of why we went through the process. So just for your information, I've, come to the town and made sure that every permit is kind of checking it,
There's a
so.
discrepancy from when you were actually buying the home.
Correct, that survey on
Identified
record.
in your title report, probably?
Correct,
So
yep.
you were trying to fix it?
Yes.
Okay. We do have one neighbor letter, so before I open it up for public comments, let me just read into the record the neighbor letter. Dated February 13th, from Wade Cornett, 25 Elk Road. To whom it may concern, I'm writing this letter in regards to Appeal 4091 for Kenneth Walczak for a variance for his fence and shed. Being a resident here in this neighborhood for the past 39 years, I wanted the board to know what a pleasure it is to see a young couple move into the neighborhood and invest time and money to improve the exterior appearance of their property. I walk my dog by their house on a daily basis, and I think the fence and shed that they have built were done in a tasteful manner and definitely adds to the curb appeal of the property and the neighborhood as a whole. Our lots in the neighborhood are small and really don't allow for full enjoyment of one's property following the current setback guidelines. I only wish more residents in this neighborhood took the time and money to improve this property's appearance. I'm not able to be present at the meeting on the 27th, but wanted the board to know that this neighbor gives a big thumbs up to allowing for the variance. Sincerely, Mr. Cornett. So thank you for taking the time to speak to your neighbors about that. So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Kenneth Walczak, 3 Fox Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 2-foot side and rear line variance for an existing 6-foot fence and a 8-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 14-foot shed? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is appeal number 4091. Applicant is Kenneth Walczak requesting a 2-foot sideline and rear line variance from the requirements of Chapter 194-98 of the Town Code for an existing 6-foot fence and an 8-foot sideline variance from the requirements of Section 194-107 of the Town Code and the Schedule of Bulk Regulations for an existing 10-foot by 14-foot, 140-square-foot shed, the variances. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Ahsan, whereas the applicant purchased the property in 2020 and added a shed and fence in reliance upon the dimensions provided in a prior survey, and whereas the property is in the Worley Home section of the town, and the properties in this area of the East Fishkills have smaller lots, and whereas after further review, it was determined that the applicant requires variances for the location of the fence and shed that were previously installed, and whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further environmental review is required, and whereas a legal notice was published in the Southern Duchess News on February 21st, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on February 27th, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, since the property will remain residential in nature. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means due to the size of the property. The variances are not substantial. The variances will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request of Kenneth Walczak for a 2-foot sideline variance and a rear line variance from the requirements of Chapter 194-78 of the Town Code for an existing 6-foot fence and an 8-foot sideline variance from the requirement of Section 194-107 of the Town Code and the Schedule of Bulk Regulations for an existing 10 feet by 14 feet, 140 square foot shed. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second?
Votes as follows: Aziz.
Aye.
Rocco.
Aye.
Alberto.
Aye.
Art.
Aye.
And myself, aye. So your motion carries. Now you'll just deal with the building department, just to make sure you can close out your permits.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Done. Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Have a good evening. All right, our last public hearing of the evening, item number 2, Appeal 4092, Ryan Folks, 2 West Tilden Place, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 10-foot sideline variance for pool equipment pursuant to the Schedule of Bulk Regulations of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So again, your property is in Hopewell Glen, which is another development that was built with smaller lots because there's infrastructure, okay? And so what you guys did, got all your permits in place, put a pool in, and functionally, the best place, as you explained it to us last month, to put the pool equipment is to be closer to the gas and the electric feeds, et cetera.
Correct.
So that's what you're asking for us. These days, pool equipment is a lot quieter than it used to be. It could be that if you were running it at night or in the evening or early morning, it could be very disturbing to your neighbor, but these days, pool equipment runs a lot more efficiently and quietly. So I believe it should be less than an issue than it used to be. But, again, it is a sideline variance, so we have to recognize the fact that you do have other options in terms of where it could be located, but functionally, the location as you described it to us makes the most sense, and I think the building inspector actually recognized that when he went out and did a review of your property as well. So comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
I have no comments. No.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Ryan Folks, 2 West Tilden Place, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 10-foot sideline variance for pool equipment? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is appeal number 4092. Applicant is Ryan Folks. Resolution of requesting a 10-foot sideline variance from the schedule of bulk regulations for pool equipment. A resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Hassan, whereas the applicant applied to the building department for a permit to install a pool, and whereas the applicant is proposing pool equipment to be located on the side of the house which makes the most sense functionally, and whereas the applicant plans to install additional screening to prevent any impact to the neighbor, and whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further environmental review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on February 21st, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on February 27, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community, as the property will remain residential in nature. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means due to the size of the property. The variance could be deemed substantial, but proper screening will be installed, thereby mitigating potential impacts. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request of Ryan Folks for a 10-foot sideline variance from the schedule of bulk regulations for pool equipment. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second?
Votes as follows: Aziz.
Aye.
Rocco.
Aye.
Alberto.
Aye.
Art.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion carries. All right? Thank you. You're all set. Thank you. All right, for the rest of you. So the idea of having public hearings is so that your neighbors can comment. But again, this board has to have the opportunity to review, make sure we understand what you're asking for. So we're going to take time to go through your applications because every application on here is new. So, although one property we've seen before. So let's start with item number 3, Appeal 4075, Christina Thompson and Guriz Lopez. I hate to say names wrong, so if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please correct me. Christina Thompson, 39 Elk Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 5-foot sideline and 10-foot rear line variance for a proposed 300-square-foot deck pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. So you've got us a survey.
Yes.
Took a little while to get this done, but, and I understand you've given us 2 versions of it. So one that is the actual survey measurements.
Yeah.
One where you've drawn in where you're proposing this deck to go. So it's a deck off the back of your house, and what it is you're looking to fit this deck into the nook of the L
Yeah,
of your house in the back. So that makes sense. So you're kind of leveling it off. Okay. Do you have a deck there now?
The what?
A deck, do we have a deck?
Oh, no.
Okay. How far off the ground is this?
We want to make it like the same level of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like about how far off the ground?
I would say about between 1 and 2 feet.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's really good. It's not like visually a neighbor is going to see something really high up.
No.
It's pretty much.
We have a single-family house,
Yeah.
like one level.
Oh, a ranch style? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have screening around your property? Is there shrubs, bushes, anything like that around?
On the one
The back?
side, on both sides, kind of, yeah.
Just in the back, really, it covers it, but
Okay.
the sides you can still see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 12, the deck is only 12 feet out, right?
Yeah.
If I'm reading this correct?
Oh, yeah.
So, questions or comments from board members? I think this makes sense. Again, this is Morley Home, so it's an area that
Yeah,
has...
it's already a small, but again, you came for the variance and you're only putting a 12-foot,
Yeah, only 12 foot out
I know.
from the house, yeah.
correct, I mean, in the
For
direction,
him to not need a variance, his deck would be 2 feet,
yeah, I know,
and
it's
that's
just,
it. That's crazy, so...
I know, it's just a small thing, but
I don't think we could fit a table on 2 feet.
Right.
I know,
Well, you could, but you can't sit there, you know?
correct, exactly, and then you use the 12-foot dimension based on the survey, because the survey was 52.4 feet, so basically to the house, and so you just said, okay, I'm gonna take 12 feet, so you didn't, instead of having a second survey done, you just said, I'm gonna use 12 feet.
Yeah.
And that's
I
what you-
just subtracted the 12 from the 52.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, so, and then you have 40.4,
And then on the side, it's gonna be the same line as the house.
yeah, so it's gonna,
It's gonna be the same line, but
where are the steps? Are the steps going to be towards your neighbor or towards the back?
No, towards the other side.
Oh,
Yeah.
towards the, next to the house.
Yeah, like towards the middle of the property. Like not towards the side of the neighbor.
see where it says cellar entrance, probably on that side.
So
Yeah, on that side, yeah.
on the time, okay. Yeah, so then, yeah, that's fine then. Yeah, because you have all the way, you have much more room to extend it towards the cellar entrance. You can extend it further without a problem. Okay, so I am good.
Yeah, I don't see anything excessive. I don't see anything really wild. Looks pretty straightforward to me.
We do have some pictures from the building inspector's visit, so I think they're pretty clear for
I
everyone.
mean, no, the survey is
Oh, you-
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at it, but the
But
survey
it
is,
helps just to show there is actually vegetation and some screening there, so.
oh, on the side, okay.
Yeah, a little bit on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's, okay, motion to advertise.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so see Jackie, and she'll give you instructions for your sign. Put a sign on the front of your property so your neighbors know that you're before us. And then we'll see you again next month,
Thank you.
okay?
And you can ask your neighbor to write a letter or come support you, it helps.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ready?
Bye-bye.
All right, item number 4, Appeals 4093, Michael O'Halloran, 19 Birch Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 12-foot rear line variance for a proposed 12-foot by 20-foot or 240-square-foot deck pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance.
I'm Ryan Angeletti, the brother-in-law of Michael O'Halloran. Kind of trying to take over this project for him, although it's not going well for my first construction. Lack of experience, I'll say. Not understanding all the readings of plot plans. So I guess if we did this in the beginning, I probably would have saved some money in paying all the fees and stuff associated with it. However, I didn't realize the house was going to stick out of the ground more than 5 feet. It's at 9 feet right now. I have updated pictures if you just want to see what I mean. I thought it was going to, when I first came here for the second variance, I think this is my third time here, for the second variance we came for, we forgot something on the original variance. I don't know whether,
wanted a front
the front stairs, we needed the variance for the front stairs.
And a porch, too.
I thought that was included in the,
No,
all right, so
porch.
we only went for the variance for the house to be on the undersized lot.
Specifically asked, was there anything else you needed?
Right, and I mean, me not understanding, obviously, elevations, that was one of the problems here, because I really thought, I'm like, no, everything makes sense. I thought the foundation was gonna be only 4 or 5 feet out of the ground, and I didn't
Why
really,
do you think that when you have a sliding glass door at a lower level?
well, that's after construction. I'm looking at a flat piece of paper, looking at the original plans of the house had a 2-foot step down. And I'm like, oh, that'll look fine. You don't need a back porch. We'll do a patio. not realizing the elevation levels of the yard. Does that make when I was looking, okay, so when I'm looking at the original plot plan, everything, I'm like, okay, a front porch, that makes sense, right? But I didn't realize the house was going to be out of the ground that far up.
But there's.
Right, but that's
lower
already
level.
constructed, I understand, that's already constructed. Once I saw that, once the building went up, I said, well, this isn't going to work.
But you didn't, so when you saw plans, you didn't realize there's a lower level that has a door that steps out at grade, or?
No, because I thought that there was a retaining wall next to the 6-foot French doors, right there at the bottom. You see, there was a retaining wall. My assumption of the retaining wall was going to be under 4 feet. Seems how we weren't going for another permit or anything like that. So I thought at best, there would be a 2-step down, right? Two steps down, 15 inches or 2 feet down, and then it would go onto the ground. So I'd have a retaining wall coming out that 6-foot French doors, a retaining wall, not 9 feet high like now it has to be, but 4 feet high. And that would be level from the ground.
Is that why there's no siding on this part, that part of the house, or it's?
Yeah, because the original plan, whenever they designed this original plans, obviously this was originally how it was going to look. I think, looking at it now, I don't know how the engineer, the guy that's helped me build this, I don't. Yeah, it's frustrating, but I did not realize that the back of the house was going to stick that far out of the ground. I thought it was going to be 4 or 5 feet of foundation. With some fill in there, there would be a 4-foot retaining wall, and then it would just be 2 feet from the sliding glass door.
As this door here is clearly showing it's at grade.
Right. And
It's at a totally different, it's the next floor up. So I'm not understanding how you.
I guess that's the kitchen. There's a slider in the kitchen on the second floor that goes to nowhere.
Right,
yeah.
but how could you not have known that?
The house was ordered that way. It was a prefab.
Right.
So that's why I'm at this predicament now, and I said, well, I mean,
So explain the size that you're requesting, because 12 feet by 30.
12 feet out, and I'm just going by 20 foot and width-wise. So the 12 feet would be the variance. Right now, the foundation wall is at 50 feet. I got some pictures, just to show you what they're going to look at. They're going to look at the back of a pizza place. I mean, as far as looks and everything, looking at the neighbor's house, every single one of those houses has a rear deck on it, the same height, same size. If you don't want me to go 12 feet out, I'll go 6 feet out. I'm just looking, to be honest with you, to get a variance so I can get a CO, because as of right now, you open the slider and you're just going to fall 9 feet down to the ground. Or I'd have to redevelop where the mason put the side window. Obviously that's all going to have to be like filled, and I'm going to have to do what's proposed originally, and that's to try to figure out either a step retaining wall, go and apply for a 9-foot engineered retaining wall. I just said, my thinking was, I know we don't want to create variances on top of variances. If I had the knowledge and understanding of what I do now, I would have requested the deck right from the get-go with the front porch. I'm 100% honest with you. I really didn't pay much attention other than going off like, hey, what do we got to do to get this house in the works? And that's when I took over. Now that it was constructed, as soon as I saw the foundation go up, I'm like, this is going to be a problem.
So the deck would be in the area where it's not sided? That's just.
Yeah, I'd come out to 12 feet, and then whatever, I'd do the stairs towards the French doors.
Right.
So even if you said, listen, we don't want to give you the 12, whatever, I did a 12-foot so that you could put you could walk out, you could have some entertainment there, and at the same time, it would conform with the other houses. I did take a picture of the neighbor's house that's right next door. It would conform with the neighborhood. I'm not asking for, it's not a monstrosity like of wood.
What's the length of the area that is not cited?
The length of that is over 20 feet. It's probably, if the house is 40 feet, it's probably 30 feet at least. 6 foot. So the house is probably 40 foot long, 6 foot French doors, so maybe 32 feet. So I would only I'd come a foot in, I'd come a foot in from the back of the house and just go 20 feet past the French doors to give you at least 2 feet on the other side so you're not walking directly out right to stairs. That's why I would go the 20 feet. I'll show you here. I just put up this picture, that's why. If you look, I'd come a foot in here and just go 20 feet wherever it landed. I know it's going to be at least 2 feet past this, so when you open the slider, it's not like stairs right there. You know what I'm saying? And then I would put the stairs to come down to the...
Talk to me about the grade, because that grade is showing that it's a higher elevation. There's more, a higher ground on that right side of the house.
This
So,
side. This
you
was...
have the ability to regrade. What's the rest of the neighborhood like?
Yeah, it would stay, that's...
You gotta go back to the
Oh, sorry.
microphone, please.
So if we're able to do the deck, it would stay with the rest of the neighborhood, the back side of that neighborhood. If you look down, it wouldn't look like a hill.
You said something about a retaining wall. So you have the ability to do a retaining wall here, or you're...
No, coming out the French doors, I saw a retaining wall on the original plans. I'm trying to avoid the retaining wall. If I was able to do this deck, you wouldn't need a retaining wall. And then I would probably first strip where that foundation is, that you see the black, and I would continue the siding all the way down to make it look presentable, rather than just a giant...
Was this deck part of the original house, or was the deck part of the original house?
No, always it was a 2-foot step down off the back of the house onto a patio. And I said, all right, that'll look nice. I thought the house was going to be more in the ground and not so high up. And that's just me being, I guess you start your career at the ground level everywhere. So now that I understand reading plans and stuff like that, going forward, if I was to do this again, I would have put the rear deck on the original variance application with the house undersized, the front porch, and given it to you all at once. That's why this kind of seems piecemealed, and reviewing it, this would be the last variance request that I would need to complete the CO for the house. If I can't get the deck on there, obviously I'm going to have to either get an engineer in there to do the 9-foot retaining wall, get a fill permit, bring some fill in there to bring it up to the level of a 2-foot drop down. So I said to avoid all of that and to make it look better in the neighborhood and better overall.
Do you believe that you still have the survey? You didn't attach it to your application.
Yeah.
You need a 12-foot rear line variance. So
That-
what's the requirement here, 50 feet?
It's 50 feet right to the back of the foundation now.
Oh, you have it. Oh, I got it. Oh my God, sorry, I have it. So that's the rear of the house is the 50 feet.
To the rear of the house, yes.
Right up front, we said to your brother-in-law, this is your building envelope, this is where you're
Right,
allowed to build.
and I think I oversaw it too, and like you said, yeah, as soon as they constructed the walls, I'm like, this house is sticking out of the ground. It would definitely 100% look better with the deck. If it was a slab on grade, different story, but unfortunately, it's not a slab on grade, and now I have this problem, all right? I'm 9 feet up in the air, and I have to figure out in the next couple months how to get them a CO and stuff like that. And I said, the best logical answer would be the rear deck, which wouldn't have been a problem if I put it in the original variance application.
What's the vegetation in the back? What's the screening between you and the property?
Woods.
Right.
Woods, and there's two culverts that we have to address too. It's runoff from Orthopedic Associates. But it's just all woods, shrubs. There's a couple old fridges back there from, I don't know what happened, but other than that, the line of sight would be in the summertime, probably nothing, I'm assuming. I haven't been back there in the summer, but right now you still have bare trees, making it somewhat not visible to the backside of those commercial buildings. You would not see the deck.
Commercial properties behind you.
It's all commercial behind me.
Behind you or in front of you?
Behind, so the house faces Birch, so the backside faces Route 52. So you have Mama Angela's Pizza, Orthopedic Associates, and then.
Okay.
So my apology, like I said, when I was here the last time to get that front variance, I really honestly thought the house was only going to be about 4 or 5 feet out of the ground. Looking at it now, I'm 9 feet out of the ground. To go the plans that were approved, which, you know, we're grateful for, I think it would look terrible.
You agree his ability to put a retaining wall in there is very limited?
I didn't really pay close attention to that when I was
You'd have
up
to
there.
bring in a lot of fill to,
A lot.
Yeah.
well, you can, you just,
You can, you
then you just need engineering plans.
These are the engineering plans, right? Another variance for the wall?
You can
No,
with
he just
that.
needs a permit.
With
He can go
engineering
over 4
plans.
feet. It just has to be
It just has to
engineered.
be engineered. Doesn't need a variance.
I don't believe so.
Up to 4 feet, it does not need an engineer.
4 feet, no engineering above 4 feet and needs to be engineered.
Because it wouldn't be considered a structure.
What about it sticking out past the 50-foot line? Would that matter? Right, my retaining wall is going to come out as far as,
But the amount of fill that you'd need to.
yeah, I'm looking to
build
avoid,
something up 9 feet is.
I mean, looking at now that I understand and seeing the building, looking at it, the most,
So let's talk about how wide and how big this really needs to be. I understand you're trying to fill you think you're matching the neighbor's line next door, so.
yeah, I mean, it looks like their normal deck sizes are 12 by 20, 12 by, you know, I'll make it whatever we decide to make it, you know. I just figured 12 feet out gives you the ability
Your
to.
only saving grace is the fact that you have commercial property behind you. So it's not
Yeah,
like,
well, that was, I understand it's a big deal, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not, it looks better with the deck. The house is going to look better with the deck than the retaining wall with this fill, and, I mean, that's why I kind of am back here, understanding that, you know.
Okay, what about other variances that you might anticipate?
I mean, the next guy to stand up here for a variance will be Michael O'Hara and begging for his life. But no, I mean, I looked at the plans and really, I mean, there is, everything else is he has the front, you know, it would just be a back deck. If he wants to come for a shed permit later on or something like that, that's up to him. And I don't know the requirements for a shed permit, so.
he's got a little bit more leeway than you have for your building envelope for your house.
Okay, motion to advertise.
Advertise.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You still have the signs from the last time?
I probably do.
Make sure they get up in time.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you don't look, it's the 3 in the back.
Item number 5, Appeal 4094, Carl Volmer, 1 Candy Lane, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 14-foot rear line variance for a proposed addition and a 4-foot front line variance for a pre-existing non-conforming front porch pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Hello.
So I have it on good authority that you're a nice person. All right, Candy Lane. How long have you lived here?
In East Fishkill or on Candy Lane?
Candy Lane.
On Candy Lane since 2011.
Okay, so, the deck that's in the front, did you put that on, or it was
That
pre-existing?
was there when I bought it.
Yeah, all right, so we're not gonna worry about that one. So the addition that you're looking for in the back is for functionally what?
It's actually to the side.
To the side,
And
sorry, okay.
it's a two-car garage. So what I'm going to be doing is adding a building for a two-car garage, and then the existing single-car garage is going to be used to extend the living room and then make a mudroom in the back.
So this is a one-story ranch house,
Yes,
so you're just looking for a little bit more livable space and a garage.
correct.
He does have 2 streets, so he'll need 2 signs when he advertises for this, but it's going to match the existing siding,
Yes.
I'm going to presume. Is there any screening on Unity Street? Any vegetation? Any?
There's white pines. You can have them if you want.
Oh.
I can't stand them. They're
The
along.
only advantage of white pines is they grow really fast.
Yeah.
But after they, as for a person who spent yesterday afternoon picking up pine cones from my neighbor's trees, believe me.
Yeah, so there's white pines along the back. Actually, 3 sides is all white pines.
Yeah,
Okay.
my pictures will depict it pretty well. It's very well screened.
Any other issues or
I don't think so.
motion to
Comments or questions
advertise?
from board members?
Motion to advertise?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so see, Jackie, for your instructions about your sign, you will need 2 signs though, because you'll need one on Unity and Candy,
Okay,
all right?
all right.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Take care.
And item number 6, Appeal 4095 and 4096. Jackie, this one has 2 appeal numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Camille Riggio, 228 to 230 Lake Walton Road, Hopewell Junction, Lot A, requesting a 9-foot front yard, 5-foot side yard, and a variance for being in the front yard, for an existing garage being in the front yard. Lot B, requesting a 16-foot side yard variance for a pre-existing dwelling, a 6-foot side yard and front yard variance for an existing shed, and a 35-foot side yard and a front yard variance for an existing garage pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Wow.
I bring the good ones to you.
How are you, Brian?
There's a
All
lot going
right, take
on.
us through it.
So we have the applicants here tonight. We have 3 parcels that were in play. We have an existing house to the south. The house to the south currently uses the garage associated with the parcel to the north. And the existing property line actually splits the driveway. The majority of the driveway is to the north. So what we'd like to do is we're working with the planning board to do a lot consolidation. So we're going from 3 lots to 2 lots. We're in the R1 zone, so we're making them more conforming from an area standpoint, specific to Lot A, which will be Lot A. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to pull the garage to the south of Lot B and have it associated with Lot A. So we kind of positioned our new lot line between the 2 garages. The 2 garages were built, basically all the structures on Lot B were built in the 1950s. So we have accessory structures in the front yard that need various variances and relief. So we're trying to position lot lines so that we can have the garage that's currently used with parcel A on parcel A's property. So,
Okay, so you've got 3 existing lots, not all non-conforming. You're trying to make them more conforming, reducing the lots down to 2, but you still are going to need a variance. There's no way you can move that line. Number one, the garage is in front of the house, and it's not supposed to be there anyway, but that's, again, it was built in the 50s. Zoning didn't come into place in town until 1963, so, that was allowed at the time. So I will comment, because I drive on Lake Walton very frequently, the one garage on Lot B needs attention. Physically needs some attention, fixing up attention. So I'm hoping with this, because the bottoms of it are kind of rotting out kind of thing,
In
so.
Norma, the
Yeah.
planning board raised that same concern.
Oh, okay,
So I did notice that in my inspection as well.
yeah.
And I know that I have to get back to the planning board, so that feedback is very
Okay,
appropriate.
because if you head toward 376, it's right there. It's right in front of you because of the angle that it's at. So that's why I'm telling you, you can't help but notice that it kind of needs some attention. That's all I'll say about it. But otherwise, I mean, we're recognizing that you're not doing anything new here. We're just reducing the lots from 3 down to 2, making it less non-conforming. Motion to advertise.
Motion to advertise.
Second.
I had another question.
Sure.
Is the gasoline pump behind that same garage we just talked about, is that connected to a fuel source?
I don't,
It looked like it was decorative only.
Decorative? Yes. Okay. And there's also a 6-foot fence on that property that we'll have to get a permit for.
yes.
But it's 2 feet in, it doesn't need,
It's
think
going to
we-
need a variance.
And I think we note that, too.
It's 0.5 feet, so in my notes, I called that out, that it needs a variance as well.
all right, we don't have it listed. Okay. So we've got to add the fence.
Lot B.
I think this is the one I may have sent to you guys Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, okay,
I just got around to it.
okay.
Yeah, so we need a 1.5-foot variance for the fence.
Yeah, it's a 2 foot.
2 feet. There we go.
Yeah, we don't do it by
Yeah, we'll get you
feet.
Yeah.
So we have 2-foot variance for Lot B. Or 6-foot fence. All right, any other comments or questions from board members?
Motion to advertise.
So, hold on, there's 3 lots? They don't need 3 signs, do they?
No.
No, no.
No. It's one road, but it's still a lane, so there should be at least 2 signs, yeah. Okay, just making sure. So I have a motion to advertise, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
See you next month.
See you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.